Hello, guys. Welcome back to another exciting episode on the show, Control or Be Controlled, a podcast designed to help you start thinking differently and take control of your life. And I remain your host, Darlington. Today's guest is Dr. Will Tuttle. Our guest today has spent decades exploring a powerful question. What if the choices we make every day, especially around food, compassion, and mindfulness, shape not only our own lives, but the future of humanity? Our guest today is an internationally best-selling author, former Zen monk, concert pianist, educator, and global speaker. His groundbreaking book, The World Peace Diet, has been translated into 19 languages and has inspired millions to rethink the connection between food, spirituality, health, and compassion. From walking across America without money on a spiritual pilgrimage to living as a Zen monk in South Korea, earning a PhD at UC Berkeley, and speaking in more than 15 countries. Our guest today has dedicated his life to helping people live with greater awareness, freedom, and purpose. Dr. Will, welcome to Control or Be Controlled.
Thank you very much, Darlington. I really appreciate your program, your podcast, and I love the title, Control or Be Controlled. That's very good. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Will. So, I hope you enjoyed that introduction.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get into the questions I have for you. Your life took an extraordinary turn when you left home at 22 and began working across America without money. Share with us what inspired that journey and what did it teach you about yourself?
Thank you. Okay, so when I left home at 22, it was myself and my younger brother, Ed. We left home. We had no money on purpose. We didn't want to bring any money because we wanted to have it be a spiritual pilgrimage and be reliant upon the Holy Spirit or the essential reality. You know, I was not that unusual of a person. I just grew up, and my father and mother were they were good parents, really, and we did quite a lot in nature. I played the piano. My father was a piano player. I learned music. He was a writer. I also learned writing from him. I think my mother was an artist, and he had a chain of newspapers, so we were very involved in the community. And when I went away to college, I just started reading more and more about spirituality, just on the side. I wasn't studying it, but I started reading books about Eastern religion, Zen Buddhism, and yoga. Also, the Bible, what Jesus was teaching. And it really opened up a doorway that I realized that most of us as human beings, our attention goes to just survival and trying to make enough money to be comfortable and get involved with things that are ultimately probably not going to bring happiness. And then we get sick, and then we die, get old and die. So life goes by very quickly. So I felt that, even when I was only 22, how easily life could go by very quickly. And especially my father wanted me to take over the business. I'd be doing that business. I could see I'd be 60 years old or 70 years old, and I'd wake up and go, what happened? Here I am. Where did my life go? And so I talked to my brother about it, and he felt the same way. We both thought, we should have a spiritual foundation for our life, whatever that is. And I talked to my parents about it too, and they were open to it. We said we're going to try to attain a higher consciousness, cosmic consciousness. My father said, "How are you going to do that?" And we decided that a good way to do it would be to go on a pilgrimage, like go across the country to California. We thought we'd go to California. We thought California, that's a great place, probably. So this was 1975, And we walked down the driveway. We had some fresh baked cookies from my mother. We didn't have any money. We just walked. And somehow we survived. It was autumn. It was September, October, November, December. There were gardens. People gave us some apples, some squashes. We stayed on the floor of churches quite a bit, or sometimes just in the forest. Sometimes we'd meet people, and whatever. We saw really that, like Jesus says in the Bible, in the book of Matthew, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, or something like that. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything shall be added unto you. This basic idea that if we focus our attention on the highest ideal, then the lower things somehow get fulfilled, because what we are essentially is spiritual beings. We are told that we're just a physical body that was born and will die. We're just a piece of matter. Like we look at cows and pigs and chickens, we buy and sell them by the pound like they're just sacks of cement. And pretty soon we look at ourselves. That's what started it for us, actually. And then what I learned, I guess what I would say I learned from the whole thing was basically to trust my intuition, the trust the inner knowing, because what I really remember was I was so happy. That was the funny thing. We didn't have any money. We didn't know where we were going to spend the night. We had no security. We were so vulnerable, really. Anything could happen, and things would happen. We got thrown in jail sometimes. I remember I got bitten by a dog. I mean, all kinds of stuff happened. But I was just so happy. I would feel these waves of joy because I was living my life. I think that's really the key. If we just live our life, and so I've tried ever since then to live a life where I feel like I'm doing what I'm here to do. And so that means, for me, it means quite a lot of meditation, and then trying to help other people and help animals. I have a soft spot in my heart for animals. I think the way we treat cows and pigs and chickens and animals in general is terrible, really. I mean, we just imprison them and kill them and eat them. So I haven't done that now for about 50 years. I just been a vegetarian, and then a vegan actually for 46 years. So I don't eat any animal foods. And that's really I think that's a big positive step too, because I just have so much more energy and health and vitality, and I'm not paying people to do things that make them be hard-hearted. Someone works in a slaughterhouse or someplace where they're killing animals for food. They have to just stab animals all day. That's their job. I mean, it's a terrible job. So I don't want to pay someone to do what I would not want to do. And that's the other main teaching in the Bible and in all the world's religious traditions is whatever we sow, so shall we reap. Whatever seeds we plant in with our body and our speech and our actions and our mind and our thoughts, we reap that sooner or later, in this lifetime or the next lifetime. We always get it. So we might as well learn the lesson and just treat everyone we ever meet as best we can with loving kindness and compassion. And that's the key thing, I think. So it really means, that's why I like the title of your beautiful podcast, Control or Be Controlled. We need to learn to control our own mind and our feelings, our awareness, our actions. And if we don't, we will be controlled. That's how it works. And the beautiful thing, though, is that we can learn to control what we say and what we buy, how we live. We can realize that we are driving the car of our body and mind, and don't let it run around and cause a lot of trouble for ourselves and for others. To really take responsibility and be disciplined. And that's where freedom comes. Freedom really comes from discipline. And if we can keep our mind tuned up and connected with the unity that we have with the source of all life, that there's one life that lives through me and lives through you and lives through every expression, through all human beings and all living beings. And it's just really, we're all one being in a sense. We can understand, to say it in words sounds kind of silly, but when we get an experience, when our mind gets quiet through meditation, then we can actually have a feeling for that we are the beautiful infinite space that is freedom. And we live in that freedom, and we are eternal. We're not just here for a few years. I mean, look, our body's just here for a few years, but what we are is eternal, and we express through a vehicle here or somewhere else. So that's what I learned, and it was kind of like in the Bible. It says to be in the world but not of the world. That's really what happened. Actually, when I left home with my brother, we were no longer really in the world. We were focusing so much on our spiritual practice, and we didn't worry if we went hungry or not. But somehow we got food somehow. And so ever since then, I feel like, even though now I'm in my 70s, that was like 50 years ago, but it's still the same. I still feel I'm in this world, this beautiful world, but it's not my true home. And I don't think it is for anyone. We're visitors. It's like a school. We come here to learn, and the lessons are very difficult. They're challenging. It's like a gymnasium. You go in to get strong, and there's heavy weights. You got to really be strong to carry some of these weights. But that's a good thing in a lot of ways. It helps us become more courageous, more ethical, more loving and kind, more creative. All these things help us, and we develop these abilities. So we mature as we go through life, and we can then be a wise. Hopefully, when we get older, we can be a wise elder to help younger people. I guess that's, I think, something that we can all do. And there's many beautiful examples of this in traditional cultures. I think it's so important to remember these ancient wisdoms from traditional societies. So thank you very much, Darlington, for your wonderful question.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Will. You kind of covered most of my question just by that particular answer. So I'm just going to move on to the ones that I think you have not been able to answer that I still have here for you. So uh, you and your wife have traveled to all 50 states and more than 15 countries, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I can have that type of life when I get married, honestly. So tell us, have you found that people around the world are searching for the same things, regardless of culture?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Thank you, Darlington. Because that's true. We've been to not everywhere, but like all over the United States, but then to South America, many countries, to Africa, to the Middle East, to all over Europe, to China, India, all over Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand, all these countries. And we go there mainly not just to travel and do sightseeing, but mainly to meet with the local people, get to know them, and give lectures and talks about my books, The World Peace Diet, which is about compassion for animals and living a healthy life. And also, I'm a composer and I play the piano, so we do piano concerts. Also, and so we stay very often in the homes of people and travel. And I would say, yeah, Russia, we've been, all these places. And I would say that you're right. Your question, people are looking essentially for the same things. And we see that people, even though we have a different language, we have different customs, the underlying human heart, I think, is very beautiful and yearns for peace and having a good life for our children, and to learn and to grow spiritually. The problem, I think, is there's many ideologies that separate us, and where we're told maybe that we're better than other people, or that we're different from other people in significant ways, or that these other people are bad or inferior or something like that. And that those belief systems can cause people to do things that are unskillful, that are harmful to other people and to themselves. So I try to just emphasize the ancient wisdom, which is that we are essentially one family. I mean, there's one common life that lives through us, and when we look out of our eyes and we see each other, that we are related, we're connected in a very deep way, not just physically, but in consciousness. And so that fundamental understanding, I think, is absolutely true. And I think the big problem, quite honestly, which is what I write about a lot in my books, is that we are raised in a society where we're told that we are a physical object, that we're just a thing, and we have certain opinions and beliefs and a language that we speak, and all of that we get from our society. Growing up, it's conditioning. It's called cultural conditioning. So it's the conditioning that separates us. And part of the conditioning is that we eat meat, eat animals and animal-sourced foods like dairy products and eggs, and that reinforces a lot of the negative behaviors, because most people every day are eating animal flesh, right? So they're paying someone to stab an animal. The poor animal is terrified, is in pain, and we steal their purpose, we steal their life, we steal their parents, their children, everything, and put them in a prison from the time they're born, and kill them and sexually abuse them. I mean, it's really horrible what we do to these animals. And then we eat them. So we have this beautiful temple, this physical body, but we instead of building it with bricks of joy and freedom and abundance, we build it with bricks of violence and misery and despair. So that's all in the cells of our muscles, our brain, everything, all that pain and suffering. And also underlying it, the idea of materialism, that we're just eating matter. I'm just eating meat. I'm just eating cheese. I'm just eating an egg. We don't see that that's a living being. This animal flesh is a living being, and that we had to transform a being into a thing that we buy and sell by the pound like it's just a rock. And that when we do that, it causes tremendous suffering, not only to them, to these animals, but to us too. Eventually, we start to see ourselves as just an object and other people, and we create all these systems that focus on how different we are, and we start fighting with each other. We have conflicts, we have injustice, we have all kinds of diseases that come out of this. And then we have certain people who get rich off of disease, get rich off of war, get rich off of spreading misinformation and deception through the mainstream media and through movies and television. And it's this whole system. So in many ways, we are deceived. So it's very important to learn to be savvy, to be not fooled by the lies that are everywhere in our society and in the mainstream media especially, and many of the governmental policies and so forth. They're not really helpful. They're based on deception. So the truth, like Jesus said, the truth will set you free. We need to, each one of us individually, I think, do the best we can to try to connect with the truth that is liberating, and that is that we are eternal spirit. There's one life living through all of us. Treat each other with kindness and respect, no matter who it is, even if they have no money, or even if they are just an animal, or if it's just maybe future generations. Care about them. Care about everyone. The more we care, the more joy we have. We feel that we're connected with nature. We're connected with each other, and connected to the Holy Spirit, the infinite source of all life. That's the main connection. Keep that strong, and then whatever happens will be for the best. We'll learn and we'll grow, and that's why we're on this earth. And we're here to question everything. I think we need to really question almost everything we've ever been told. In many ways, is probably not true. I mean, the depth of the lies is amazing. So it's really important that we cultivate this inner ability to be quiet and listen inside and become our own internal authority, our inner guidance system. Don't depend on outer people. Don't depend on what I'm saying even. I mean, don't just just go within. Like Jesus said, he said, go into the closet and close the door. I love that. It's like go into the quietness of your own consciousness and shut the door so you're not thinking about what you're going to have for lunch or what you should have said to somebody or how you're going to make more money. Just for 20 minutes, just shut the door and just listen and become the being that you are, the infinite light that is the only life. That we can all do that. And if we do that, then we start radiating love and compassion and joy and peace to other people and to ourselves and to all of our cells of our body. Then we're healthier. Health is fantastic. I mean, to be healthy is really important. And that's how we are healthy is by sending love out into ourselves and to everyone and eating in a loving way, eating organic, whole, plant-based foods and getting plenty of sunshine and fresh air and connecting with nature and moving, celebrating as best we can our life as a gift that we have and cultivating a feeling of gratitude that we have another day, because at a certain point we're not going to have another day. And these days are really precious. We can learn a lot. We can help other people, just like you're doing so beautifully. You're just creating a platform here for us to talk about these ideas, and people are listening. And that's an incredibly important, beautiful thing. And all of us can find ways to help each other. I think that's the main thing. Thank you for the question.
All right. Thank you so much. So my final question for you is this, Dr. Will. If I give you the opportunity to share something with my audience, something that I may not have asked you, what would you share with my audience?
I guess what I would share is just the underlying sense that our life is beautiful and nature is beautiful. If we go outside and we just look at trees, animals, flowers, children, the light in the eyes, the stars, the clouds, there's so much beauty, really. But we humans, we tend to, unfortunately, we make some beauty, but we tend to make a lot of ugliness. Unfortunately, we're disconnected from that beauty, and so we build cities and create systems that imprison nature, imprison animals, imprison humans in many ways. And so, I would just share with everyone, if you can, every day, just do something that you feel is planting a seed of freedom in your life and for others, by saying something that's loving, by acting in a way that is helping others. And if we just do one thing every day, we keep planting these seeds, because, as a musician, I understand, I think we all understand this really, that we develop an ability through practice, and regular daily practice is the most important thing. I wanted to play the piano when I was a little kid, and my father played. He said, yeah, you can play like me. You just got to practice. So if we just practice the thing that we would like to become good at, if we'd like to become more abundant and have lots of wealth, what do we practice? We practice generosity, practice giving. The more you give, the more the universe will give back, and you'll be so rich. The more we give, even if I don't have anything, give what I don't have. Give a little bit, and the universe will reward you. I found that so true. We never ask for money, and we have abundance. We try to live every day to give. It's the same thing. If I want to be really loved, then to be loving. And somebody might say, "Well, how can I be loving? I'm all alone." I can be loving when I wash the dishes, and I wash each dish with love, and I hang up the towel with love. Be care, have a feeling of love for the actions, the little things. Life happens in the little things, the way we do the little things, with mindfulness, with awareness, with loving kindness. And then when we see someone, we can smile to them. Whatever we can do to increase what we would like to see in the world, then it'll always build it up in the world, and we create a better world for everyone. And it's within our power, and it boomerangs right back to us. Ultimately, there's no one else. If I criticize someone else, I'm just criticizing myself. If I bless someone else, I'm actually blessing myself too. So we are not separate from the world. That's the thing I guess I would emphasize more than anything, is that, and we haven't learned that lesson yet, and so we're going to keep at it until we finally learn it. So thank you so much, Darlington, really for for the work you're doing and for this opportunity.
All right, thank you so much. Dr. Will. So, from what I could understand from you, one thing, particular lesson I'm going to pick from this is whatever I want, I must give out so that I can get. If I want to be rich, I give out money. If I want to be loved, I give out love. So, thank you so much for coming, and I really appreciate you taking out your time to be here. Also, to my audience out there, I thank you guys so much. You guys are the reason why we are able to do this. Thank you all so much. And if this episode is speaking to you, make sure to share it to someone out there who needs to hear this. Once again, I love you guys, and I will see you guys again. So, Michael, so sorry, Dr. Will, before you go, share with me and my audience how they can connect with you and learn more about what you do.
Yeah, thanks. So just briefly, if you want to just find out more, you can go to our website. It's probably the best way, which is pretty basic. It's just my name, which is Will Tuttle, like you said, WILLTUTTLE. If you just put that in, you'll come to our website, willtuttle.com. The name of the main book I wrote is worldpeacediet.com, and those will take you everywhere. If you go to Amazon for books, or any bookstore, just put in my name, Will Tuttle. Or if you go to YouTube, you can put in Will Tuttle, and you'll see all the videos we have of lectures and interviews and cooking videos. My wife preparing food and gardening and music. You can go to iTunes for music, and yeah. So I would say just put in my name, and we have our schedule there. We have our trainings, and we have a contact form if you'd like me to answer a question. Just send an email, and we're happy to reach out to people and stay in touch. So thanks again, Darlington. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so, so much. And do have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you. You also.